That's Dion Forrest, Strength Report, and today I want to talk about what happens to the body long term when you start to develop certain muscle spasms, tension in the body, and aches and pains that you just can't seem to get rid of. Deep muscle spasms and aches that you get in your hips, your lower back, especially if you're a heavy weight trainer like I am and you do a lot of squats, deadlifts, or you're just a hardcore athlete that's been involved with sports for years. You begin to notice that you start to develop, over time, you start to develop spasms and aches and these minor aches and pains in your muscle tissue, and no matter how much stretching you do, it just never seems to go away. Well, I have a little tool here that I think that has worked for me and that I think will be very beneficial to a lot of you guys out there. It's called the foam roller. You know, like how Dr. Evil says it, foam roller. Nah, so aside from corny jokes, I use the foam roller, okay? Now, you know, what begins to happen over time is that as an athlete, from constant tension and pounding and heavy lifting, the muscle tissue goes from elongation and starts to contract more and more. And this typically happens as we get older. And what happens is that you start to develop spasms, and certain muscle tissue does become damaged over time, especially if you can't get deep into those muscle fibers and elongate them. They become completely damaged, and sometimes this causes aches and pains, especially when you get older in your 40s and 50s. And that's the reason why you hear a lot of older people, you know, they have to warm up first. And you hear them say a lot of the time, especially after they work out, they're sore for days and they can't do anything afterwards because they have so many cramps and pains. Well, that's because the muscle tissue and the fibers in their body are slowly contracting. And especially as we get older, we don't stretch as much like how we should. And so you start to get a lot of contraction, a lot of spasms, a lot of back spasms, which is typically seen in older men. And some women as they get older, but most of the time in older men. Not to mention the hip flexors, or the muscles around the hip, and also in the abdominal region, start to become tighter and tenser as we age. Typically because we are becoming less active. A lot of older people don't exercise. A lot of people don't exercise in general as they get older. And also sitting in chairs. Chairs will eventually fuck up your posture and also cause a lot of muscle imbalances and shit you don't want to deal with as you get older. It just messes up everything. That's why if you ever look at indigenous cultures, they squat instead of sitting in chairs. I think chairs were the worst invention for humankind. Convenient, but one of the worst inventions. But again, that's my opinion, and that's a whole nother topic. But right now, we're on the foam roller. We're talking about this, okay? So what this does primarily is it gets into the deep tissue and the muscle fibers that you can't really get to by yourself with your hands. A lot of people use this and they don't really know what it's for. Now, if you guys ever look up professional bodybuilders, like look up Jay Cutler or Kai Green if you ever get a chance, or Ronnie Coleman, he's pretty popular on YouTube. Most of these guys have been lifting heavy weights for a long time, and their muscles have contracted instead of elongated because they have so much muscle and they're always constantly contracting the muscle. It starts to become tight, the fibers become tight, and it's just stiff, sort of. And over time, this causes so many problems on their joints, ligaments, and they start to develop certain pains and spasms because as the tighter the muscle contracts and the tighter it becomes tense, the more it starts to pull, you know, on those joints, ligaments, tendons, all of that, and it starts to cause aches and pains and eventually imbalances and sometimes severe injury in the future. So what they do, these bodybuilders, what they do is they go to physical therapists and occupational therapists, and they get massages. And these physical therapists or whatever, they get deep into the tissue and they break down the fibers and loosen them so that the bodybuilders don't have injury in the future, and it helps elongate their muscles so that they can get a better range of motion. Their workouts can be way better and they can recover quicker. When they break down the muscle tissue, when you go to a massage therapist, they're increasing the blood flow into the muscle. See, when the muscle contracts and when it starts to tighten and tense, a lot of blood flow is restricted. When the muscle loosens and relaxes, blood flow is then able to pass through the muscle way more easier. So primarily, this is what this does. It gets into the deep muscle fiber tissue, loosens it up, so elongates the muscle, so it can allow blood flow to get into the muscle, and also loosen up those minor kinks and imbalances that you may have that typical normal stretching won't really fix. It helps get deep into that tissue. Now, I say that the foam roller is very good, very good. You see a lot of pro athletes use it, especially basketball players. Typically, their injuries are back spasms and hip imbalances due to the shock of always coming back down and a lot of jumping. Every time you jump, you're putting 10 times the force of your body weight through your body. It's all the shock just going up through you. And also, they're putting a lot of pressure on their lower back. That's why a lot of basketball players, like, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, guys like that, throughout their career, they eventually develop back spasms and slight slip disc in their lower back due to all the compression and the pressure of playing a physical sport, primarily through most of their life. So that's what this does. Loosens up the muscle, gets deep into that tissue. But I will advise, if you combine the foam roller with actually going to a trained massage therapist and specialist, you're going to feel completely better. I went to a chiropractor not long ago. It's the first time I ever had a complete massage. And man, do I tell you, it felt so good. I mean, you walk out feeling like a new person. Everything, all the imbalances and things that you had before are completely gone. They massage everything from your back, your lower back, to your hips, your arms, even your face. There were certain muscles in my face that they were able to hit with their hands that I didn't even know you could hit. They were really just loosening up every muscle fiber within my complete body, my head, my temples, all this tension that I was carrying in my neck. It was just unbelievable. So I would advise you guys, check out a massage therapist or a chiropractor. Some physical therapists specialize in deep tissue massages. Look around. Search on Google. Google has the answers to everything. We live in the information age, so I'm pretty sure it won't be hard to find. But so that's it. Use a foam roller. It's very beneficial, very helpful. I have my own personal exercises that I use. I'm going to create a video on that soon, so you guys can check it out to see how I use the foam roller and the target body areas that I target that are very vulnerable to injury, and that it will help really improve your posture and just your body movement completely. You'll be a new athlete. So that's it, guys. I hope that was helpful for you. Subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming out soon. I'm really starting to get the hang of just throwing information out there. I'm improving my videos as I go along, and I'm just really trying to help people. So that's it, guys. Hope that was helpful, and stay tuned for more. Peace.